prepared on stage, and our first up is an investor presentation from Glenn Grayson, who's the Exploration Manager with Kin Mining. Come on up, Glenn. Kin is a West Australian-based gold development and exploration company with a focus of 100% owned Cardinia Gold Project. Over to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lucy. Thank you, Kerry, as everyone has said, for putting on a fantastic conference. It's great to be able to get back out and about and over to these things. Us West Australians are really happy to be able to come to these things once again, and it's great to actually be able to go back into Western Australia. So a little bit about Kin, it's our disclaimer. So we're an ASX listed gold explorer. We've got a really strong strategic shareholder base. Nearby producer St Barbara own 18% of us. Another high net worth from out of Germany has 30% of us. We've got a 1.3 million ounce optimised mineral resource inventory. That's all entirely within our 100% owned Cardinia Gold Project. We've got a strategic plan of really aggressive exploration that's been ongoing now for a few years, and that's really paying for our understanding in the geology and success in growing our resource base that's been steadily increasing over the last few years. We've got some development optionality. Within 100 kilometres of Cardinia, there's a lot of processing capacity already. There's 4 mills in the area. But we also still have the option of a standalone and building our own plant. We're well funded. We've got $6 million in the bank as of the end of March. So our strategic footprint. So we're in the Leonora area of Western Australia, 30 kilometres to the east, 650 kilometre square land package. It really is a fantastic location, Tier 1. The Canalpi greenstone terrain is a really well endowed part of the Yilgarn. There's multiple 10 million plus deposits in the region. Gwalia in at Leonora there, plus 10 million ounces. A little bit closer to Delavan, there's the Wallaby ore body, plus 10 million ounces. Sunrise Dam, plus 10 million ounces. So it's a Tier 1 jurisdiction to go looking for gold ore bodies. We're still drilling at the moment. We've been drilling steadily this year. The drill rig at the moment's up at Iron King, just to the north of Leonora. So we've got a lot of samples in the laboratory at the moment, so we've got a lot of news flow to come, as well as resource update coming likely in the September quarter. As you can see there, the 3 stars on the map, that's where the 1.3 million ounces is located. 3 centres, Cardinia, Mertondale and Rayside. It's predominantly oxide ores as well. Just a snapshot of our capital. So Delphi out of Germany is 30% of us. St Barbara in at Leonora there. Nearby producer 18%. 23% held by high net worths and another 27% by retail investors. Our market cap, 71 million. That was at the start of June. I guess a point there is our liquidity. There's really not a lot of stock traded daily of Kin, which helped us yesterday. We were one of the few stock in green yesterday, so keep an eye on Kin. So we have a really experienced team, a couple of geologists with a mix of production and exploration experience, accountants, engineers, with a lot of experience managing operations. We do use the best consultants that Perth has to offer. Cube Consulting are doing our estimation work. Como engineers and IMO are working on the process engineering and extraction of the gold, and John Standing, the Model Earth team, and Southern Geoscience are helping us with the geology. So the opportunities, the Veneri greenstone sequence, It is a really underexplored part of the Canalpi terrain. Limited deeper drilling really has had focus solely on where historic workings are and shallow drilling. What we do know about Cardinia is there's a big alteration system across Cardinia, and we're working towards a strategic pipeline approach whereby we're doing systematic targeting, doing the base work to a really high quality and progressing our targets. So we like to have a full pipeline, so that's projects at the early exploration stage as well as through the process up to increasing our resources. And by doing that, we keep adding to the resource base. So the geologists are doing what geologists should do, which is coming up with targets and then testing the targets. So we think the potential for a large system is evident at Cardinia, and we think there's a large ore body hiding there, and we're really starting to unlock the code for that. So this is zooming in a little bit to Cardinia. This map on the right of the screen there is about 8 kilometres north-south, 6 kilometres east-west, and the background in the image is the magnetics of the rocks. Across Cardinia, the rocks are altered to really reduce the magnetic response. And on this slide, there's about 650,000 ounces in resource there at a grade of about 1.2 across 8 deposits. We've divided Cardinia up into the eastern and the western corridors. That's based on slightly different characteristics of the ore bodies, slightly different mineralisation characteristics and structural sort of models. And the eastern corridor, we're expanding our resources there, hopefully getting upwards of 500,000 ounces in the eastern side, up from 260,000 ounces. And drilling recently at areas like Rangoon and Helens has shown that we're really starting to understand the geology. On the western side of Cardinia, slightly different structural setting, northwest, southeast striking structures that dip to the northeast, and by understanding these we're really starting to target some higher grade mineralisation there as well. So what we think is going on at Cardinia is we think there's a buried intrusive that has provided the heat and the fluids that has altered the primary rock. Then it's reactivated structures that have provided the location for the sulphide mineralisation. So this is a slightly different map. The grayscale background is the magnetics. In front of that, in the colour, is a gravity map. We did a really detailed ground gravity survey about 18 months ago. And what this map's showing is the red and white colours on the map are the more dense rocks. So that's usually your mafic volcanics, your mafic intrusives, basalts, dolerites, etc. The blue on the map are your less dense rocks, so felsic, volcanics, porphyritic rocks. And for Cardinia, it's intensely altered rocks as well. So mafic rocks that have been completely replaced with carbonate also come up as less dense. So this is zooming in a little bit further to the eastern corridor. It's the gravity map again, slightly different colours. The green and the red is showing the more dense mafic rocks. The blue is the less dense rocks. And this has also got drilling on the plan there. So what that's showing is that where we get the edges of these gravity lows, that's based on structure and alteration, we're really starting to see some high grade gold. So that's starting to, the gravity has certainly helped us targeting the mineralisation in a much better way. The drill intersections on that plan are showing sulphide mineralisation at depth. So these results are quite deep. The 15.8 at 3.8 at Helens there is 250 metres down hole. 21 at 6.6 is more than 200 metres down hole. So the sulphide mineralisation is much higher grade than the, the current resource that we are seeing at Cardinia. We've done some recent drilling, results released in the last couple of weeks from Howlands East, the 7 metres at 24.5 grams sulphide mineralisation. So that's showing more of the style of mineralisation we see in the eastern corridor. So it's a steeper structure. Both footwall and hanging wall of the felsic volcanic here is mineralised, but when we see the plus 15 gram grades in the gold, we're generally seeing plus 8 to 10% sulphur in the multi-element analysis. Some other results up at Rangoon recently. Again, drilling below a current resource, the sulphide mineralisation was prevalent, but this is a shallower dipping structure, shallow to the east, and it's a much broader system. The 43 at a gram, 27 at a gram, 31 at a gram provides a lot of metal content, but as well as this along strike, there is still the 6 metres at 4 type grades that we're starting to see a lot when we're targeting the sulphide mineralisation. So this is a picture of chip trays that the geologists on the rig collect. And what they're starting to see now is when they're identifying the sulphide, and it's a pyrite quartz anchorite assemblage, when they're starting to see the sulphide and the correct kind of sulphide, they're really starting to pick where the gold is. There is 2 episodes of sulphide mineralisation. There's a later pyrite mineralisation, which is coarser and is a nice bronzy colour. The early mineralisation that carries the gold it's finer, it's quite a dusty brown colour, and that's generally because there's a lot of other stuff in it. So with the gold, we're getting plenty of silver, we're getting arsenic, copper, bismuth, antimony, tellurium, zinc, a lot of other stuff. So this led us down to work on our recovery from that. Oxide recovery across Cardinia is fantastic, so plus 90% of the ores. But once we got into the sulphide mineralisation, it was getting down to the 80 to 85% recovery. So IMO have been doing a fair bit of work with some fresh core on this, and the work that they've done has shown us is that it's fine gold, but it's in cracks and inclusions in the sulphide. So it's not typically refractory, but it's just trapped up as fine gold in the sulphide. So the work they've done has shown that a pretty simple standard float circuit to create a sulphide concentrate really helps to increase our recovery. The sulphide then is quite brittle and cracks readily, so the regrind isn't expensive. And this process has increased the recovery from that 80 to 85 back up to 90 to 95% across Cardinia. That's a picture of what we have at the moment at Cardinia. A previous iteration of Kin decided to start building a process plant, so we have a lot of the equipment already on site. Crushers, grinding circuit, ball mill, some tanks, the steel for the tanks, the rest of the steelwork's all there. So we do have a lot of the equipment already needed to go and build our own process plant. PFS in 2019 said that's going to cost us about $76 million. Inflation at the moment, we think that's probably upwards of an extra $25 million, so $100 million. To be able to do this, we think we need to get the resource upward of that 1.5 million ounces, closer to 2 million ounces. We also have optionality in that recently we've got an approved mine plan for a small pit at Cardinia. We've currently got in the department waiting for approval for another small pit. That'll give us the potential to start mining early to create some of our own cash flow. As I said, there's about 16 million tonne of processing capacity in the region with all the mills nearby. Dacian, Mount Morgan's just up the road, St Barbara with Gwalia in town. Northern Star at Thunderbox have just been doing a huge size increase to their mill at Thunderbox. And Red 5 at King of the Hills have just commissioned their 4.5 million tonne per annum mill. So there is plenty of capacity in the district already, and we're actively in discussions with all 4 centres to see which is the best fit for kin. All 4 really like the idea of taking some oxide ore. Oxide ore really helps with their own processing and recovery and equipment. So those conversations are going at the moment. And that'll create some cash flow to keep drilling and increasing our resource up to get closer to that 2 million ounces. So, summary. We've got an advanced project, 1.3 million ounces, in a really attractive gold mining region at Leonora there, and a lot of untested exploration potential in the Canalpi terrain there. We are moving to operational readiness at Cardinia, with initial developments already underway and in discussions with the local producers currently. But we are focused on making a larger discovery ourselves. We do think the potential at Cardinia is huge for a large ore body to be hiding there. So we'll keep looking there. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Glenn. Great to hear the kin story. And next up is